changing. So some people have OPL, some people have OML, but if they want to go into renewal, those things will change, the name will change. So just take note that OPL will be it's already being changed to PPL, which is Petroleum Prospecting License under the PIA. While OML has actually been changed now for gas. So there's a separation between oil and gas. You know that there are two regulatory commission now, so they couldn't just have OML for one license. So if you are going for gas, you'll be having petroleum mining license, PML, then oil mining license for oil. So OML is changing to PML under the PIA. I just needed to put that in the room as some of the transitions you're going to be seeing. Something we need to talk about is how long do you have this document with you? The length of time to have this document is minimum of 20 years. So it's renewable after 20 years. It has financial obligations attached to it by the NEPRC. It has obligations that has to do with taxes. We just had a tax reform. You have obligations for royalties to the community, the host community. We have obligations for fines if you violate. We're going to be speaking to that later on as we move ahead. But what does NEPRC do? NEPRC, they put the framework, regulatory framework in place. They issue these licenses. They review them in terms of monitoring, how you are using them, if you are keeping to their standards, and they are responsible for renewals. We've mentioned that the duration is 20 years. Yeah. What should companies know? Companies should know that if you have this document, you should be able to ensure that it complies with your work program. So work programs are things you want to do within the period of existence of that OML. What would you be doing? I'll be drilling a well for 3 months, and it's going to be 15 wells. With this amount for this length of time is going to be affecting people. This environment will have to do this housekeeping. We're going to be managing a lot of things. So you have a lot to think about when you have an OML. The environmental responsibilities when we have the ESG compliance, how much flare will you be reducing? The spill management that comes from this activity, these are some of the things you need to think about. Community relations as well. There's something called HCDT, Host Community Development Trusts. It's an obligation under PIA today that if you have an OML or a PML, you'll be required to provide some level of fund in a percentage that helps to develop the community. Yeah? So these are some of the things that we need to have at the back of our minds when we are talking about OML and PML. So why do you want to have an OML? Well, of course, you already know that you need to be able to make money. Yeah, you need to make money. You'll be able to create opportunities for people, provide jobs for people. Today in oil and gas, you know, there are a lot of people who are being employed across the country today. And so it benefits the populace in trying to provide jobs, in trying to provide opportunities for people to equally do business with people outside of the country. There are key players in an OML. You have the regulators who will be monitoring what you're doing, renewing your license and granting the licenses. We have the IOCs, the big boys in the oil, where we talk about Shell, ExxonMobil. Some of these things are changing. Today we have Shell called Renaissance now. Yeah, so the international oil companies are equally in play with an OML. And what is their role there is that they have various OML licenses. And when you see marginal fields coming up, it's because they are ready to divest one of their assets with an OML license that currently exists and be able to give it to someone else. So what comes to mind is if you have a brand new car, you won't want to buy a car that doesn't have a second-hand value. So having an OML available for divestment, which increases funds for the IOCs, is one of the benefits we see in this key play. We equally have national companies like the NNPC as well as service providers. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. All right, let's move on. What is asset management. Asset management